Okay, here we go. And 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. Mavericks are playing themselves in a tough field in the NBA playoffs, and especially trying to make sure they can get out of the playoff round and the play-in round, I guess to say, especially now this has been implemented, hoping that they can avoid that opportunity of having to play two games to solidify their spot in the playoffs. Hi, everyone. I am Earl Holland, and with me here to talk about the Mavericks and their shots at the playoffs is Patrick Messa, a big Dallas Mavericks fan who lives in Miami, which is unique. So I know we have a few stories we can talk about, especially what it's like being a Mavericks fan down in Miami. How are you doing today, Patrick?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh no, and I appreciate as well you taking time out of your busy schedule, especially in the middle of a week. The first thing I wanted to ask you: how did you become a Mavericks fan, and what drew you to them?
It's funny because people ask me this all the time. I originally became a Mavericks fan when, what year was that? I think it was '04, '05. I was at my grandmother's house. I was waiting to get picked up by my parents. And I turned on the TV and there was a live NBA game on. It was the Rockets versus the Mavs. I don't remember too much about it. The only thing that stuck out to me at the time, because it was my first time watching an NBA game, was Dirk hitting, I don't know, he hit like 51, 52. I think it was his career high, actually. And it was also against Yao Ming and T Mac, because they were there at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm a big soccer guy, so I'm very much into the style of German soccer. And so seeing a German NBA player, there's already a connection for me based off of my love for another sport. So I was like, this guy's German. It's kind of cool. He stands out because he's not your typical NBA player. And he had a fantastic game. And they beat the Rockets. And I was like, damn, this is kind of entertaining. So from there on out, I was a Mavs fan.
Going in, what is your most memorable Mavericks moment?
My most memorable. It's easy to say 2011 Game Six. We clinched our first NBA title, but I guess that'd be pretty cliche to say. So I would say a game that really stuck out to me was a Game Seven we had in 2006 versus the Spurs. Dirk, he hit an and one shot, driving it to the lane. He got a layup in. He got fouled. I think that was Manu Ginobili who fouled him. And with that, it like closed out the game and it guaranteed us a spot in the finals. So that it was just insane to see that happen.
What's the most unique piece of team-related memorabilia that you have?
Unique. When the Mavericks played the Heat in the finals in 2011, Game Six was actually here in Miami. One of my former when I was in high school, there was a security guard that he was a big sports guy and into collecting memorabilia. So he would usually know where the teams would stay at when they're in town. So through him, I found out where the Mavericks were staying during their visit in Miami. And I actually had my sister, who's pretty artistic. She drew out a poster for me, and it just had the Mavs emblem on it, and it was probably about the length of, I don't know, probably shoulder width apart. So it was a pretty nice big poster. So the morning of Game 6, before the team went out for the shoot around at the arena, I took it to the hotel. And when they were walking by, going to the team bus, I had a few players actually take pictures and sign my poster. So it wasn't a piece of memorabilia that I bought. It was actually, handcrafted. So it was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. I mean, that's something you can't really take away. That's something you can hold on to for the rest of your life. Going into the season, what were your expectations? A new season, not completely affected by the pandemic. At least this time, there's no huge gap. It's a later start, a shortened season. What were you hoping the Mavericks would be able to do in this season?
So it was a tough loss by the Clippers. How we exited round 1 in the bubble. The thing was that we didn't have KP. So Luka was, carrying a lot of the workload. And with him alone, it was interesting to say that, we put up a pretty fair fight. So the thought that was lingering in my head the whole time was like, damn, what if KP was healthy? Like, where would this series end? Would we have made it out the first round or not? So the expectation to this season was to have a fully healthy squad. As you could probably tell, that's not really the case for the most part. But the expectation was to have a healthy squad and to make it past the first round, in all honesty.
Was there a point where you were confident that the Mavericks were getting into the playoffs? Was there a particular moment that said, yep, we're fine, we're getting in. I know it's going to be a tough haul, but we're getting in.
Yeah, I think we struggled early into the season. It was during the All-Star break. So once we got past the All-Star break, we started to really find a rhythm. And for the most part, when we had big matches versus whether it be the Lakers, the Suns, the Nuggets, the Nets, we would put up a fight, and I feel safe to say we won most of those games. And that's when I really started to realize, like, even though we're not fully fit 100%, this team could do damage. It seemed like we're starting to get a little bit more respect in the league.
Was there a time you were worried about the Mavericks making the playoffs?
Oh yes, 100%. Before the All-Star break, Coach Carlisle, it didn't seem like he had a solid idea of what to have for starting lineup. His approaches from one game to the next, they seemed fairly inconsistent, and we weren't getting results. It was pretty frustrating, to say the least. So prior to the All-Star break, I didn't know where the season was going to go.
Looking at the playoff brackets, and everybody's comfortable with everyone being in the playoffs, and you're getting in, whether it's going to be in the top 6 or the top 7. Who do you feel like the Mavericks match up the best with?
Match up the best. It's a shootout out there. It's hard to say. I'm looking at the standings right now, and I believe it or not, I would say probably the Suns. I feel like the Suns, even though they're one of the more dominating teams at the moment, I feel like we match up well against them.
Why do you feel that you guys match up well with them? What is it that you feel like you guys do well against the Suns?
Just position by position. I feel like we're more. I don't know if I want to say talented, but I feel like matchup wise, we would suit well against them, because I know the versus the Lakers, we have a tiebreaker with them. We beat them 2 games, but they weren't fully fit. Versus the Trailblazers, they're tough. They beat us in our season series. The Nuggets, I wouldn't want to face the Nuggets. We've pretty much. I think we got swept by them, so it's a difficult matchup against the Nuggets. So doesn't leave too many options. And the Warriors, I do not want to see at all.
I know that the way a lot of the teams are surging right now, that it gets to that point of the season where it can be a crapshoot, and you never know what's going to happen. Um, who's the team? As you mentioned a little bit, some of those other teams in the bottom, but why do some of those teams scare you that you're worried about seeing in the playoffs?
The Warriors, because of one guy only, Steph Curry. We all know he can do whatever he wants on that court, and especially luckily we're avoiding that playoff picture, the play-in tournament. So that gives me a sigh of relief. I think we just need to win one more game, or we could depend on a loss from the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. But the Warriors, they're a scary team. They're a scary team. The Lakers, they're not fully fit. They don't seem like they have rhythm going. So the Warriors and the Nuggets are probably the teams that worry me. Oh, and the Blazers. It's stacked. It's stacked.
Now, I know Luka Doncic has become really a star and buzzing in the NBA, and it's unique that really going back even well before the Dirk days, the Mavericks really sort of cornered the market on European players, East European players like Detlef Schrempf and guys like that beforehand, and then of course Dirk and now Luka and Kristaps Porzingis. But what is it that makes Luka such a dynamic player that people love?
That's a good question. I think his his diverse talent, his IQ, his awareness, his his way of play makes everybody around them better. I wish I could give you the stats off the top of my mind, but I think in every game they bring it up of how efficient and powerful the team is when Luka's on the court versus when he's not. And like with Dirk Nowitzki, he was a superstar as well. But a guy like Luka, he's getting you 8 assists a game, and he's drawing in double teams to get other people involved. So it's special. It's something very special to watch. So he gets everybody involved, and everyone gets better. You don't find that in any player.
What is it that the Mavericks do well?
What do we do well? I feel safe to say they're they're very compact. They're a team. They work together as a team. It's not really, even though Luka is a superstar, he's a rising star in the league. It's he doesn't have that demeanor like this is it's the team is just him. On and off the court, it seems like everybody is on a good page. They get well, like they seem like they're on a good page with one another. So I see it like more of like a family. So it seems like they have very good chemistry on and off the court.
Mm-hmm. To you, looking at the NBA Finals prediction, who do you have coming out of the Eastern Conference? Who do you have coming out of the Western Conference? Who wins the NBA Finals, and in how many games?
Oh man, that one's a toss up. On the Eastern Conference, it'll probably be the Nets. I would say long shot. For the West, that thing's a shootout. I don't even know what to tell you. Of course, meeting a Mavs fan, I would love to see the Mavs. Expectation wise, I think we can make it to the second round. If we make it to the Western Conference Finals, it'd be a very successful season. But I would say maybe the Nuggets or the Suns if the Mavericks don't come across them, because I feel like we could beat them. So if it's the Nuggets and Nets, or the Suns and Nets, I feel like the Nuggets could beat out the Nets. For the fact being that like I see the the Nuggets play, and it reminds me of the Mavericks, like very like team based basketball, and I love it. I love it. Nobody is here to claim the shine of the team or the image of the team. If it was the Nuggets and Nets in the finals, I would probably take the Nuggets in about 6 games.
Yeah, that's pretty lofty. I know everybody, depending on when I talk to people, a lot of people were at least initially up on the Lakers, and now they're down on the Lakers. It's interesting how those injuries to LeBron and Anthony Davis have impacted everyone's choice. But I mean, and I know we don't want to make it about the Lakers too much, but how far do you think the Lakers can go before they reach the end of their run this season?
Oh man, I don't know. I wish, like you just said it yourself. I'm pretty sure you hear week by week a whole different answer. Right now, well, they just got a big win versus who was it? Oh, against the Knicks 2 nights ago. But if they're in that play-in tournament, in all honesty, if they come across the Warriors, I don't see them making it into the actual playoffs at all.
And that'd be such a huge fall, especially for the defending champs. Before we wrap this up, Patrick, I really do appreciate it. Do you have any shout outs you want to give, any social media that you want to promote, or anything else that you want to promote while you're on?
No, I'm good. Just for everybody to be a good human being. That's all.
I know, especially right now, we need a lot of that. Especially with whatever's going on. Not to get too in depth with it, it's just sometimes you just need a little bit of, what's the word? Consideration of others. Sometimes, because it doesn't seem like that's been happening a lot more lately. It seems like it's going the other direction.
Agreed.
Well, Patrick, I really do appreciate it. For everybody who's been watching, thank you guys for tuning in so soon. We have another team rundown and live stream a little bit later where I'll be talking with the fans of the Philadelphia 76ers. And again, for everybody who's been watching, for Patrick Mesa, I am Earl Holland. Thank you guys for listening. And of course, Patrick, me and you, we can talk a little bit after we go off air. But for everybody who's been watching, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll see you back at 7 o'clock tonight.